Good morning, and welcome to one of the first ever World College Poker webinars. I'm Alec Rome, and along with me today, one of the founders of World College Poker, Craig Tapscott, and of course, you know the person in the bottom part of the screen, one of the most famous poker players in the world. I can hype him up, just up to the mountains. Over 13 million in live earnings, and the founder of the Flop app. One of the reasons why he's here today, Patrik Antonius. Patrik, how are you this evening? It's 7 hours ahead of me and 9 hours ahead of Craig. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you guys?
Good.
We're great. I mean,
Yeah.
we're excited to have you. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff today. First off, you're one of the sponsors of World College Poker, a brand new sort of promotion and product coming into the poker world. I wanted to ask you, I guess, what excites you about something like World College Poker? It's basically going to be a lot of college students competing against each other. What excites you about something like this coming up in the poker scene?
Well, what excites me, it's something new, which is very nice. We haven't had anything like this for the poker industry. It's obviously all young players, just players who are just learning and getting better, and these are the players that they're gonna actually make the biggest impact in our game, in our industry. All the new generation, they're always gonna come and change a little bit things and change the way the game's played, and it's important. They're gonna make an impact. This way, which direction the poker industry is going, and we have amazing game, and it's very important this direction we're gonna go from here.
So, Patrik, when did you start playing? Did you play before college?
Yeah, actually, I have played. I played professionally 20 years for now, and my first experiences with poker was actually when I was like 11.
Wow.
We played like really. I mean, it was just sense, but we liked the game. It was not about the money, but already then I got introduced it, and then I started to play a bit more when I was 14, 15, 16, while I was doing a lot of sports, playing tennis, and we played between the practices and so I've been a long time in this involved with poker.
So, what do you think has changed over your time being in poker? What do you think is the biggest thing that you look back on and you're like, wow? I mean, we are so far away from where I started in this game.
What has changed the most with the game is obviously this game grew massively. The popularity is really something that nobody believed. I think back in the days like this, there's about 100 million players, 100 million people around the world are playing poker. It's a massive number, and obviously technology has changed the game, the way the game is played now on the higher level more, because we are all of us learned a little bit more, and technology helped us and is helping us find better solutions in the game. But it's been a very I would say very fascinating life to be part of the poker industry and playing already professionally when really there was nothing else than like a World Series of Poker main event that was something that got more attention, and I did not even know that there was poker on TV, or it was any kind of game that you could actually play professionally and travel around the world when I started to play. So it was
Right.
But yeah, being part of all the booms and in these events go from just a small amount of players to thousands of players it's amazing.
Well, when you say technology, that's part of why you're developing the Flop app, the First Land of Poker. Why don't you share a little bit more about everything that app, your vision for that app in a couple of months for all the players?
Yeah, so basically, we started First Land of Poker almost 3 years ago, and the reason was that I realized there was no modern technology helping us solve certain problems. Like we had and we have still a clear communication problem between the poker operators, between the poker rooms, between the players, um, and this was something that we're facing. Like players are just having hard time finding players to play with exactly the same games that they have interest in the certain locations. Like we're all scattered, and you know, it's not the easiest thing to see what's going on and find the right game for you and make that easy as possible. Will be amazing. Amazing. So this was actually the the something that I struggled myself my whole poker career a lot to get into
Right.
into the games around the world, and all of us have done, and then I was looking more into in our whole industry, and we don't actually have a exclusive platform for the community in poker community where we can all connect, like all the players, operators, rooms. Like we don't have, we have. This is the first Land of Poker is the first social media application and platform where we can all improve our industry and get closer to each others. So hopefully we can deliver, and we can help the poker community to go to the better direction, and we are here to serve everyone, players and
Right.
all the everyone who cares about the poker community.
Well, I see that you're already having tips on the app. I'm using the app. I think Alec is using the app. So you're
That's
doing
right.
some professional players are sharing besides yourself, right? You're sharing some information, some tips to the players. So how's that going to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, we're just I'm writing all these little tips, and they're like very general tips that is like I don't go to very technical details, but there's something that they're gonna help anyone pretty much to make better decisions, and there's just so many things that goes into the poker. It's not just technically playing good. There's all the other things. You're managing yourself. You're deciding what to play and when to quit, and all these things, like all the preparation you do before you play. Like it's important. I treat poker as any sport, and I think this is part of the reason why I had such a good career, that I always I've been always acting like an athlete, sleeping good, exercising well, and playing when I'm feeling good, instead of playing long hours when I'm sick and tired,
Right.
and it's a sport of the brain, and the brain needs to work when you play.
Well, I was excited when you first told me about the Flop app and what the project I've been working on for World College Poker for about 6 or 7 months. And I saw it as Alec can probably talk more about it too. I saw it as creating a community where all these college players, and there's probably many, many college clubs around the US and the world, that they can communicate and share information, share about the game, share hands, things like that. So that was one of the most exciting parts of beginning to work with Flop. for us as we expanded our audience for the college players. I mean, Alec, you've talked to a few players about it. I know you played last night.
Yeah, that's right. We just played last night. I had a little home game and essentially just talked about the app and kind of what I think really excited me was the possibilities of the app. The possibility of taking all of these different places where we are. We're in. There's so many places where poker community is organized. It's unorganized in a way, and you're absolutely right. We don't have a central place to come together and be able to communicate with people. I mean, like Patrik, like where we could just reach out to people and not make it feel like such a hard thing to reach out. To not make it feel so distant. And especially in a time now when you think about it, we've had the global pandemic going on. I mean, we all feel more distant in a way. So stuff like this, particularly for our community that is very interconnected and, everybody knows everybody and everybody plays with each other and all that sort of thing, I think it can only be a benefit. And I'm excited to see, one of the things I wanted to ask Patrik was, I know you were talking about tips, but you were talking to us the other day too about kind of reaching out to new players and making GTO solutions. Everybody hears that 3-letter acronym GTO and they're like, ooh, fancy. But how do you make it simpler to digest and what are some of your plans for that?
Yeah, this is interesting question. So the people who don't know about GTO, so it's a game theory optimal, which is basically being solved by artificial intelligence. So the computer is giving you the most optimal recommendation to every situation in general. But we are all humans, and nobody's computer. We play differently. So this is just a suggestion that what is right general in those situations. So the GTO this has actually changed the game. The game's been played quite a bit. People are applying it for playing pre-flop, and there's all kind of tools now that you can use. And this is actually you have to be a little bit advanced in poker to understand how to use these tools and learn from them. And we are building at the moment a new kind of GTO tool that would be very easy and simple for the very beginners to start using right away. And this is something interesting that we are doing. And also poker is. I think we lost Craig.
Oh my gosh, we lost Craig.
Yeah.
Craig must have had a.
So
go ahead.
So we're building. We're gonna have a couple of these tools for players to use and play with them and learn. And we also gonna teach poker. I'll be part of teaching. And with our application, First Line of Poker, we're gonna have a part for all the teachers who are providing content, and they can provide their content, and the players will find a lot of teachers because there's really, there's no right and wrong way to learn, and everyone will learn differently based on different teacher, and you can choose based on who's teaching really technical, who's teaching more generic. It's all these getting the information, sharing. People learn so much from each other's players when they're sharing and they're talking about hands and commenting why they should do this and that. This is really something that is very needed when you're just getting into poker and you're learning yourself. It's really helps you to take your game fast on better levels instead of you trying to figure out everything yourself and just playing and reading and learning. But communicating with other players is really important in the early years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things I hear all the time is that I feel like your growth in the game, um, it gets kind of you hit a plateau unless you find other people to communicate with, and having mentors and teachers in all aspects of life, in any industry that you're in is really important. Did you have a mentor or a teacher that really guided you in the game?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's actually some of these players, they have like a mental coaches and life coaches nowadays to
Mm.
and kind of improve their part of this. I had a very special career myself. I've done everything by myself. I've done it in the unconventional way that I never had anyone to teach about poker. I always just figured it out myself. I played a lot. I probably played I would say more than anyone in the between the years like 2000 to 2006. Like those 6 years, I was really playing 12 hours a day, maybe averagely. So, um, so yeah, but also in this, we didn't have this kind of community those days. Like there were not so many players, and it was very different. There was no really good books to read. I never read one poker book. Nothing. Nobody. We were all just trying to figure it out what is the most optimal way to play the game. But but yeah, that being said, there's all kind of information online, and it says that somebody has been my mentor or coach or something. I would say that if anyone, it actually was bothering me if somebody was trying to tell me ever something about certain hands, how I should play or what I should do or something, some kind of putting things to my head, it would hurt me in the way, because I like to think of everything myself and come with my solutions, and then I apply them when I'm in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to in the moment, you go to the moment when someone is telling you that, oh, you should do this in this situation most likely, and you're in that situation, and it's not like it's not a good way to think, to to get influenced by others in that way. You gotta always do the work yourself, but to get that information when you want it from others, and when you have questions and you want the information, this is very valuable. But if somebody put some information on you, how to play ace king, no, this is the right way to play, and you do this and that, and this is not the good way.
Right. It's better if you kind of seek it out yourself, because you know what's best for you. You know what you're looking for, rather than somebody that just gives you some random advice like that. They're not really tailoring it to what you need. Another thing, I guess, we on this point, what do you think takes a player from a decent player, a good player, to a really great player? What is there something special, or is it a much simpler answer than that?
My answer is going to be pretty simple. It's just my opinion that I think there's two factors. One is your motivation. That you need to have that motivation, that you need to want to be a great player. You want to kind of want it so much and do the sacrifices instead of dreaming about it. So you gotta believe in yourself. That's one thing, and then there is a talent part also, but also when it comes to this motivation is that then you need to be willing to work really hard. Like if anything, it's like any sport. There's a reason why the best players are there. They're the ones who've been practicing the most. They're the ones wanting it the most. Like it's always they're always the most hardworking guys. It might look outside that these guys are just so talented and lucky that they don't have to work. They're the ones usually who did the most hard work. So these are the things. It's of confidence to play on the highest levels, like to become a great player and great results. This is important in poker, so you need to have that. But usually the confidence comes with the fact that you know your skill level, you're honest with yourself, and you know exactly how you. Then it's another thing that you have the confidence to perform.
No, those are all really good points for sure. I keep, one of the things that I hear just whenever I talk to somebody about poker is all of the skills that seem to apply to different aspects of life, business, different, psychology, all of those sort of things. There might be people that, or college students in particular, that watch this webinar, or they see something for poker for the first time, and they don't know how it might help them. They just view it maybe as just a game, just degenerate gambling. But how can poker help somebody improve their life, and why would you recommend it?
Well, you learn a lot. You can learn a lot from poker. You can learn a lot about yourself, because every time you play, you lose, and these, for some people, this might be something new if they haven't been competing in anything before. So you learn to have emotions when you're losing. You need to be less. You learn to be less result oriented, because it's not always the case that the results tell you how good you've been playing. There's just a perfect amount of luck in poker, and this is actually such amazing game that, poker is. I couldn't appreciate more poker as a game. Like we have the only game that has, you need to apply very good strategy. There's a psychology involved with poker. We have live tells in there's a amount of luck factor that it's anyone a good day, any given day, and beat all the best players. But it's just the perfect one. It's still a game of skill, and I cannot say any game that will bring people together to play a smart game where you have to a good strategy and perform it well at the moment. Be present and know what's going on, and make quick decisions under a lot of pressure sometimes, when it can cost you a full tournament life or like this. So you gotta be to anything. You gotta be facing a lot of different stages of tournaments, when it's sometimes really low and quiet. It can be the most intense moments with the biggest pots and in the biggest tournaments, and it's a lot. It will teach you a lot about human behavior, and also all the recognition that how fast. Basically, one of the important poker skills is that how fast will you to take all the information that you are giving from your opponent. You're watching your opponent play, and you see how many hands he's playing and how he's playing them, and then you make conclusions. You take that information and you apply it against him. So it's all about making right decisions, and you need to find solutions in real time against your opponent that you're maybe just playing first time in your life. Now after 10 years, you have a certain kind of opinion of this player and how do I play against this kind of player. So it's really the most amazing game in this way.
That's right, and it's why we all love it. We're happy to have Craig back on the call. We lost him for a moment,
Disappeared.
but he's back. But yes, I mean, I think that's the reason why I got into it. I mean, I've started from the age of just 5 years old. I used to play with my stuffed animals in the living room, and I have no clue how it happened. But
did you lose? Did you lose?
I can't remember. You know, Puppy was a tough little stuffed animal. I'll tell you that. I didn't want Puppy on my left, that's for sure. But but yeah, I mean, you know, it's been a part of my life ever since then. You know, whether it's playing a video game or anything like that. But it really, when I got to college, it really helped me create a community and make new friends, and it helped me make better decisions and pay attention to people. You're absolutely right. I mean, the psychology behind people and what they're doing, how they look when they're doing something, doesn't just apply at the poker table when you're trying to win, you know, prizes, money, etc. It also applies in being emotionally intelligent. You know, being able to handle a high pressure negotiation for your next job. You're trying to get a higher salary, and you got to negotiate and look somebody in the face and see whether or not they're willing to give it to you or not. So yeah, like I said, I think something like World College Poker is for any college student out there that doesn't think this could help them. I implore them to try poker out, to try World College Poker as an outlet to learn some of these skills that Patrik just mentioned, Craig.
Well, when I was talking to another top player in the industry a few days ago, they talked about
right now.
Can you hear me?
Has no mic on, no?
I can hear him on mine.
Can you hear me okay?
Let's hear Greg. I don't know what I need to do.
Can you hear me?
To change that.
I'm not sure, yeah, because I hear him okay on my end. I'm not sure if I can feed you the audio or not, but that's interesting.
Can you hear me okay, Patrik?
He's silent for me. I cannot hear what he's
okay.
I'll try something real quick here. I'm going to try something. Let's see. Go ahead and speak now, Craig.
Patrik, are you there?
Is he still quiet for you?
Patrik is quiet for me now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Maybe what do I have to press?
I'd say you should. I don't know if you really have to press anything. It's kind of weird because I hear all of you. I hear both of you.
Well, go ahead, Alex.
To just restart the call or no?
No, keep going. Go ahead, Alex.
No, it's okay. We'll try to keep going here. You know.
Can you talk to Patrik about COVID and how it's affected him playing and flying?
I was going to mention that. Yeah. So Craig in my ear, producer in my ear now. The pandemic and COVID-19 definitely has given us a new outlook on this game, because now a game that, as you know, I know you really love to play live, but that became a little tougher when the pandemic happened. What did you learn throughout this pandemic, and you know, what have you learned maybe from potentially having to play online a little more than normal?
The pandemic, like most, is really good for online poker. Everybody moved online for temporary, at least. So yeah, I entertained myself for playing online also when there was nothing where I could go, where I am, and also it gave me an option to little bit game more, to study a little bit. Using these new tools that we have available nowadays. I have to say, it's nice to see that online poker is having a second big boom, and we had a lot of nice big tournaments this year. But I assume when things go back to normal, that people really want to play live and choose live poker more, and I think even maybe there is more players actually. I think they started to play poker because of this pandemic, when they had more time to go online and seek like a new thing to learn, or study new things, or take a new hobby. And but yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, now we see those masses that are in the poker. What do we have? How many players we have in the world? There's you can see the real numbers. How many thousands of players we get on these tournaments on daily basis.
Right.
Right, yeah, these tournaments are huge, and across so many platforms, and we can only think that it's going to keep growing, and potentially there might be the Open. Of course, we all know about being in the U.S. Being in the middle of Nebraska, it's a little hard to just there's not really the legislation yet, but I think there's definitely the opening for a second poker boom that could be we're on the start of the wave. Never know in the next 10 years. Craig, you have a question?
Patrik has started his own live poker tour. Ask him about that.
Oh yeah, that's right. What Craig tells me you started your own live poker tour. What's your aspirations for that?
Well, it was just an event that we did with First Line of Poker. We wanted to try some new things to improve the live poker tournaments and in the industry. So we launched a Patrik Antonius Poker Challenge tour, and we tried new things like a faster shot clock in our events, and we had players around the world, everywhere from USA, from Asia, from India, to play, and it was a very nice event. It's not really. It's more like the plan is to have my own tour going around or something. It's something more that once in a while do a fun event and invite a lot of players and maybe try something new. And then if things work, like this faster shot clock was a very big success, and I think this is the future of poker, that we're gonna apply this faster version to the shot clock. What players are using 20 or 30-second shot clocks. There's a faster and more entertaining way to play poker that we all can adjust. And but it was a really fun event, successful one, and I'm looking forward to do another one at some point. But there's no tour coming. That's not the plan. But the plan is actually to do a couple just fun events, cash game tour events. We have First Line of Poker has our own cash game tour. So we always are to like doing a nice 2-3 day event somewhere, or even a 1 week is possible.
Right.
To get players together to play, invite new players to the game, have good time, play cash games, and enjoy the life in this way. It's I mean, poker is really, I talk about it in a competitive way and on the highest level of poker, but I mean, it is that it's supposed to be the most entertaining and fun time to spend your spare time and relax. Like, this is what I do myself most of the time when I get together with my friends here in South France, Monaco, and it's just the nicest thing. We play some poker and watch some sports and we socialize, and it's I love the game. I love the social part of it, and in the USA, actually, this is you are having it in the right way. Poker is done in the right way in the States, and Europe is coming far behind of that kind of poker culture. The culture is really nice in the States. How people feel like they're in their own living room and they're watching sports and playing and eating and
a little bit of everything at one time.
I wanted to ask poker,
but everybody definitely should have a right to play online poker. It's crazy that it should be available for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody, it's kind of ridiculous that you don't have a right to play online poker if you chose to.
Yeah, it's
agreed.
Yeah, definitely agreed for you there. Craig's feeding me another question to my ear.
No, I was saying Patrik is part of a new wave of young players that really focus on physical fitness. Mm-hmm. So he was one of the, like, when I started interviewing players over the last 10 years, him and a number of other players really, used that as a way to improve their poker game. Can you talk to him about that?
Are you still not hearing him? I got the question, but I was seeing if you can't hear him now.
Yeah, tell me.
All right, huh? So the thing that he mentioned that I thought of was that you mentioned earlier that as part of your overall like poker philosophy that you take care of your body and you really you work out, you eat right. How important is that to being able to play poker at the highest level?
I think it helps a lot tremendously, and I was very lucky that I was very active when I was young. I was playing a lot of different sports. I tried to play tennis professionally, and I learned at a young age that you need to put the work in, and you need to practice. Makes you so much better. Nothing comes without a hard work, but so yeah. Then I've been always living like an athlete. I've been always training. I've been always sleeping well. I've been, I would say, good nutrition. It's just doing all these kind of things. They have come very naturally for me, and now there's a lot of science that has backing up like how important is sleep to your brain functioning, how important is nutrition for your brain functioning, how much exercise help your brain functioning, like all how we create more neurons in the brain, and how all these things that are what I've been always doing a lot and doing well, they're actually very important for the brain. This has helped me to perform on. I've been able to. So yeah, it is important, but also poker is you don't need the physical abilities for this game. It's on a higher level you go. I think players are doing all these things pretty well nowadays. You can see that the best players they're doing yoga, they're doing meditation, they're doing breathing exercise. They're making sure that they get enough sleep when they play a big tournament. They're eating, they're doing all these things properly nowadays already. They're treating it like a sport.
Right. I mean, poker can be an equalizer where you may not need athletic ability, but you can still find an edge because you still have to take care of your brain and take care of your body. And, maybe not do 24-hour sessions online or anything like that. Get some sleep and come restart it for the next day. I had a couple of questions from some of our players that they were interested in asking you, and this one comes from Sid. He asked about what was the biggest downswing you've ever had, and how did you recover from it?
Yeah, a big downswing. I still remember the months that it happened. It was this downswing happened 2008. It was the months of January and February. January, February, a little bit maybe March on 2008, and I lost over 4 million straight. And that was maybe 4.2 million. I didn't keep the exact track, but it was the longest downswing I've ever had of couple months, 2.5 months, and the gains were very massively big. And I was in the States, and then I flew to Europe, and I spent the next 3 months. I was in South France and in Monaco and a little bit in Spain, and around, and I was really lucky actually to recover quickly. It took me those 3 months to get it all back. So I had the opposite really run, and this is one of the things. how fast you can recover, and I was very lucky there that I got good run of cards, because yeah, it was a struggle that I faced so far with my poker career, how to handle that kind of bad run of cards. And I was also used to just recently, like I had one of the craziest streaks that anyone has probably had. Like I played more than 4 years between 2003 and 2006 without having a losing month.
Huh.
And it was just, and I was playing the biggest games online that there were. So I was playing against the best players, and for 4 years not having a losing month, I was running really good and playing really good. But also I was playing so much that my 1 month of playing could have been someone playing 2-3 years live in some cases. So in this way, it was extremely hard for me to have a longer losing period, because it was so many hands those days. That was my biggest losing streak for 4 million years.
So was there something that you told yourself that got you through that, or was it simply just going back to work and hoping for better?
I just remember I had to change some things, and I had to take a little break. I was in Vegas, and I felt like, it's good I'm leaving to Europe. And I went to Spain to look at some houses and play some golf. And trip, then I a little bit and booked my first winning day for a while, and it followed with another winning day, and things just started to get better from there. But it's really I mean, obviously I played 20 years professionally already. I've seen so many downswings, and of handling those situations of what do you need to do. And even if sometimes that you're in a good mindset and ready to play again, you're many times not. It all depends of how bad is your swing. It's hurting you because you've seen so many losing hands. If you have thought that you want to get fast back to where you were, recover the money you've lost, that's already a bad mindset. You need to be just fine with it. This is your situation right now, and you are in the present moment, and you're focusing what's happening right now, and you don't think about what happened in the past and what you want for the future. Like this is very important. In poker, it's so important to be present. Otherwise, you're not playing your best. So yeah, this obviously there were a lot of emotions, like when I was losing in Vegas on downswing, and all I can do is I can say that I always tried my best. I did not play my best while I was losing almost every, and gains were so massive. I mean, I remember there were days I was up over 300,000. So many days I was up over 300,000. I ended up losing those days during this downswing. I ended up losing 200,000 or 100 or even more, and I was not managing myself properly those days, and you learn as you go. The right thing that I should have just booked a small winning session the days I was winning, and that would get me on a better mindset, have a better next day, be prepared better, go from there instead of giving it a chance to this kind of streak.
Right, build on the little wins, essentially. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. I have another question too from one of our players. This one comes from Rad. He asks, and this is this question. It's like asking what your favorite child, I guess, in the game. What's your preferred game? What's your preferred game? Does No Limit Hold'em have your heart? Is it PLO? What is your preferred game that you like to play?
My preferred tournament game is No Limit Hold'em. This is real. This game fits the best for the tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And my preferred cash game is Pot Limit Omaha, and now 5-card Pot Limit Omaha. But
Yeah.
Pot Limit Omaha for the cash game because you can you can play more hands, and you don't have to be like much attention pre-flop than you have to do in No Limit Hold'em, but it's more about action. You can play more hands, and this is why it's more entertaining. I think it fits a little bit better as a cash game, because it's pot limit. Now you cannot go all in and so on. Like I think that's No Limit Hold'em is a better tournament game.
How has Pot Limit Omaha evolved over the last 10 years for him?
Craig asked, how has Pot Limit Omaha specifically evolved for you over the last, and evolved in general over the last 10 years?
Actually, I started to play Pot Limit Omaha when I was really like starting to play poker. Like, it was the preferred cash game in Helsinki in the casino in Finland, and it was the Hold'em was the tournament game. The game has evolved. We're just adjusting to play with a little bit different strategy just what comes to betting sizes. If there's any changes in general, I think people used to bet the pot in this game, and now people are betting more half pot bets and racing less than a pot pre-flop. And what everybody's saying, doing the same thing. There's the flop turn and the river, and you get 4 cards, and boards are changing a lot. There's quite a bit of bluffing, and I don't think there's really too much in this game. I still think people are not. This game hasn't been like No Limit Hold'em. It's still like a fairly new game to a lot of people, and these Pot Limit Omaha tournaments they're getting more popular. There's more players, and it's an interesting game. It's a fun game. There's if you get a big pair aces or kings and you're against 2 undercards, it's very small chance to win. But in Pot Limit Omaha, somebody has aces and you give the other person 4 random cards. The difference is not so big what comes to having the chances of winning and this is the reason why you can play more hands also in these games, because the hand values are much closer. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I prefer that as a cash game the most. And then I like cash games. I like poker so much that I like to play mixed games, which is many different games. It's interesting because there's very few player that knows all the games really well, and they have their favorite games, and you're always kind of adjusting. Some players are stronger in some other games, and some are stronger in other games. And this is getting more popular in the poker industry. These kind of mixed games where it can be even like 10 different games or more, and the game changes every like after 1 round or so.
Right, it's kind of like a hidden part of the poker world where everybody gets used to seeing on ESPN. They see the same game, the Texas Hold'em, but in reality, I mean, there's so many different versions. Craig and I were talking about it last night because one of my friends hates playing mixed games. He just hates it. He just and Craig was like, it's like PLO is like steroids for your No Limit Hold'em game, because it really makes you think about the equities, what kind of draws you're having, what kind of blockers that you might have against your opponent. It gives you a fresh perspective, I guess, on maybe if you go back to No Limit Hold'em and you lose 2 cards.
usually if you start to play PLO as a cash game, players prefer to keep playing that, and they rarely go back to Hold'em, and it's exactly that. There's you can, and the more thing to do. Every card has a meaning, these blockers, like you have one blocker, two blockers, and so on, and it's a fun game, but there's a lot of fun games in poker. Prefer actually myself all these, we call them big bet games, like no limit or pot limit games, because there's a little bit more, it's more appealing for me that I can win the pot with bluffing, betting, when I know my opponent doesn't have a big enough hand to call me. And in limit games, you can add where you can limit games. You can just bet a small portion of the pot every time, and it's more like apply a different strategy of playing your hands. You can bluff, but you cannot bluff so effectively in this game.
Yeah. We're getting towards the end of our webinar today. One of the things, we were talking about tournaments a little bit earlier, and we're going to have college players here in a week playing in the Fall Brawl in the United States and playing against each other to try and win trips, championship belts, and potentially a coaching session with you. How do you navigate a large field, and how do you kind of get settled in the first few orbits of a big tournament?
Yeah, these, there's the secret for big fields and big tournaments is to treat them just like any other poker game and tournament. All you can do is just focus on the moment. So you go one hand at a time, you don't look ahead. That's all you can do. And you have to be prepared for that. And you need a large field, but you just, in tournaments, it's just the thing that you're trying to stay in the tournament. So you're going level by level. Hopefully your chips are increasing. Sometimes you lose some pots and you can fall to low back, and then you're in the risk of going out and so on. But that's all you have to poker, just to stay in the moment and do your best moment. Obviously, there's a tournament strategy gets involved with you have a large stack against bigger stacks, and you're applying strategy that you don't want to play a big pot at the moment because it's too early to. In strategy wise, you're risking of going out earlier than you don't have for a long time with this kind of stack in some marginal situations. And there's so much about regarding poker exactly that. We have like how game we have the tournaments are more like that sports part of poker that you go to compete and you get paid based on the position you finish, not how many chips you had, and your chips are living in a tournament that sometimes you have a lot of chips, sometimes little, and you have to apply different strategies based on that. And everybody starts on the same level field, with the same amount of chips, and there's situations in poker, in tournament poker, in cash games. It's the learning never ends in this game.
Right, learning never ends, and you have to adapt and overcome. I want to give Craig. Let me hear if Craig has any more questions here for Patrik before we wrap up.
No more questions. I don't want to take his time up. You can just announce the dates, December 5th and 6th, for the first two East versus West events, and then hopefully people will use the Flop app and communicate with each other during that period too.
Yeah, for sure. So
final table 2 weeks from today.
That's right. So we're just to wrap up and give all the information that we want to give. The Fall Brawl is December 5th and 6th, but you got to get registered here pretty soon by December 3rd, I believe. Poker Bros, download the app, go to worldcollegepoker.com and get registered there for the tournament. Lots of prizes up for grabs there in a big tournament. Again, 5th and 6th. Check for your division. And of course, Patrik's app. Patrik, how can we get the Flop app? How can we get it, and how can we reach out to you and follow you on social media?
Yeah, well, you can get it from the App Store. First Land of Poker. First Land of Poker. Here's our logo, Flop. The best from Instagram, and also First Land of Poker has Instagram page, and this is where we are giving our tips out at the moment. And I can talk a little bit. For me, Instagram. I have Facebook. I don't use really anymore. I'm pretty bad at Twitter. Very bad. So Instagram is the best. You can always reach me through First Land of Poker. Also, if you're, but so what was the other question?
I pretty much covered. Yeah.
Yeah. How we can
talk to Patrik?
App and references and make an account, and you can add me also, and you can start sharing for your poker experience and regarding the app actually. So we're gonna start having flop partners, poker rooms that are using our solution, so you can see all the live games that is going on. You can create your own game if there are flop partner with. You can create a game and invite your friends to come to play. The poker room manager will see the game and accept it if they have room. You can take a seat with our application. You can join the waiting list. You will get notifications with all these things if there's a seat coming to open for you, or the poker room manager can contact you through the application, through the chat, or through the notification. What I was gonna say? Well, we have news in real time in our application. Well, you game sessions, but the interesting parts, we have all these learning things coming. Early next year, January, February, you will have poker coach. Will be able to find our these new tools that will help you to learn more about the theoretical part of playing up to this these learning that you can start using. Let's all, if we can all start using Flop, it's gonna help us help the poker community to all closer to each other and
come together. It's a one-stop shop. It's Flop, First Land of Poker. It's on iOS and Android. Thank you so much for being with us today, Patrik. We really appreciate your time, and thanks to everybody that's been watching. And we'll see you hopefully on another webinar soon, and we'll see you around, Patrik. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrik.
Yeah, thanks. And sorry for